And good afternoon. Welcome to Straight Talk. This is your Drive at 5 show. Catherine Tyson, your host. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. It is Thursday, and that is Success 101. And you know what we do on Thursdays? We talk to successful young Caymanians, right? And we highlight them, and that's what we're trying to do here. So thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Now, this afternoon is a special one because we're not just highlighting one young Caymanian that's successful. We go and pile them up in the studio today. The studio is filled with beauty and youth. Oh my gosh, like everything that we all want, right? And so, who I have this afternoon are some of the Miss Cayman Islands Universe contestants. So I have three of them. And I have a past winner, a past Miss Cayman Islands Universe winner, Caitlin Tyson. I'm kind of familiar with her. If the name sounds familiar, it's because people be naming their children close to their own name. So, good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon, Miss Catherine.
All right. So in the studio, I have Miss Aaliyah Solomon. Hi there, Aaliyah Solomon. Say hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. As well as Miss Kimberly Carlos.
Yes, ma'am. Hello,
there.
Everyone. Hello, Cayman.
All right. And Miss Ashley Crow.
Hello, hello. What's going on, everybody?
All right. So, and say hello, Caitlin. Hi.
Hello. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
I don't see you enough.
I know.
You must live next door
I
soon.
know. We've only met once or twice.
Yes, of course. You look a little familiar. All right. So that's enough of the mom-daughter stuff there.
The sweetest
Listen,
duo. Oh, my goodness.
ladies, listen, I am so excited. Obviously, everybody knows, I am definitely a pageant mama because, my daughter jumped on that train in 2018 and took away the people crown. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just on that, on that to go for the crown thing. And it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. What you guys are all experiencing right now, I'm sure. And so I just wanted to catch up with you this afternoon, share you with the audience, and give you an opportunity to share yourselves with the audience, because this is going to be your life, basically. Yes. After that, is it September 11th?
Yes, September 11th.
How's that feeling?
Oh, wow. I am nervous but excited.
Oh, you're nervous but excited. Okay. And what about you, Miss Ashley?
Yeah, it's going to pull up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I think it's one of those things that you'll never quite be ready for. I mean, you'll have all of the preparation that you need, but you just got to dive in and jump into the deep end.
Right. Absolutely. What about you, Miss Kimberly?
Well, this has been a lifelong dream of mine, so I have been living and waiting for this moment.
All right. And
So
speaking of that, tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's see. Caitlin, do you want to kind of start off a little bit before we kind of, just introduce the girls and the ladies, the young women, the amazing, fabulous women?
Yes. Well, it is funny that it's like 2021, because it honestly feels like just yesterday that I was preparing to go into the Miss Cayman pageant and then having to go to Miss Universe in Thailand. Like, it all feels like it just happened yesterday. So my tip for all of you ladies is to honestly enjoy the journey, soak up as much as you can, because it really does fly by. I can't say enough positive things about my experience in Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant, how much it's given me, how much I've learned through the experience, and just being able to give our community positive role models to look up to. That's the role that you all are stepping into. No matter who walks away with the crown, you all are now in the public eye. There are young children and teenagers looking up to you, listening to you. So use your platforms for good, use your voice, be yourself. And I'm just so excited to see where you guys go with this journey. It's going to be amazing.
All right. So Caitlin, before you give up the mic, I want to ask you, how are you feeling around this time in 2018? This time, what's happening in their lives?
Well, around this time, I was probably a wreck trying to get everything together. There's so many moving parts that I don't think a lot of people realize when it comes to pageantry. It's not just your physical appearance. It's so much more than that. You're putting yourself out there. There's a lot of vulnerability, but you have the opportunity to really work deep in your community and make a difference. And it's kind of hard to balance your life, your work life, your personal life, as well as getting getting everything prepared. So, you know, working with the Toastmasters, working on your speech and getting ready for interview, on-stage Q&A, how to be prepared to tackle any question that's thrown at you. That thinking on your feet, that stuff is really hard and people don't realize. And me coming into it, I was an actor, so I'd always played a character, and then it was like, oh, now it's myself, putting myself forward and my thoughts and my opinion. So if there was any kind of thing on social media, it feels like a personal attack to you. And so I would just love for the community to embrace all of our contestants and, you know, to send them love and kindness and encouragement on this journey, because I know I was just all over the place getting things together, but it was so much fun that I wish I soaked up a little bit more of the fun that I was having so that I wouldn't just remember the stress that I was under.
Right. And that's so good that you said that, because I really think that when I you know, kind of follow the pageants and you know, I'm sitting in the audience and I'm watching your journey before that night. And I just think every single one of you should be so proud of yourself that you put yourself forward and that you are getting this experience, because at the end of this, like, you walk away a completely different person. Mm-hmm. You know, I saw a young lady in credit union about 2 months ago. She was in Miss Cayman Islands, I think like 2 years ago. And I was like, girl, I hope you know how fabulous you are. You know, and she was just drop dead gorgeous. And she was like, oh, thank you. I was like, no, I'm serious.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, don't be playing. Like, you are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, I don't want people to just walk away and think, okay, the person who got the title is the person. It's like, you are also the person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's very important.
That's so true. It's so true. So that's why I really want to impart that, if I can, that confidence that we all have our invisible crowns already.
Right.
It's just that it all comes together on one night and there can only be one winner. Right. But that doesn't make you any less of a winner, any less of a queen.
No, absolutely. And that's why this journey is so important and what you do during this journey. So let's chat a little bit. Let's see. Should we do this in alphabetical order? So it doesn't seem like I'm talking to whoever. Okay. So who would that be? That's Aaliyah. Aaliyah. All right. So Aaliyah, tell us a little bit about what made you, you know, decide that you wanted to do this.
I would say when I was living in England, I always used to watch the pageant on Instagram and also on the website. And I always seen it very inspiring to see, you know, women believe in themselves to go and join. Okay, it takes a lot, as you were saying, it takes a lot to join the pageant. And some of the reasons why I would really love to, one of the reasons why I joined the pageant is because I believe that I would be a great role model, and also having as I mentioned in my bio, having a younger brother that has a disability, you know, he taught me a lot. And I believe being a role model, you should have a few of those characteristics, as you should be open-minded and you should never judge someone on the exterior, but look in the interior of a person, and also to treat others how you'd want to be treated.
Okay.
So that's one of the few reasons.
And so you lived abroad for a while then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you're back home now.
Yeah, very excited. It's all new to me. You know, a few places I'm still trying to learn where they are exactly in Cayman, even though I know it's really small.
Yeah. So how long were you away then?
I was away for 12 years.
Wow.
Yes,
okay. So you kind of grew up overseas.
An English woman, apparently.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you ever compete in any pageants before?
No, ma'am, I didn't know. This is my
first one?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very great learning experience.
Nice. Okay. All right. We'll get back to you and ask you a little bit about your experience. Just to share that's Aaliyah Solomon. Is that Aaliyah? Yeah, that's Aaliyah Solomon. She's 24. She's from the district of Bodden Town. Her sponsor, tell us your sponsor.
It's Fashion Mart, the great sponsor.
Okay. And your favorite quote, "This too shall pass." All right. And Aaliyah's diverse academic and professional background takes her through flight attendant training to business administration to most recently employment in the legal industry. Her aspirations include traveling the world, volunteering abroad, caring for the elderly, and finding time to do some modeling, amongst other things. As you mentioned, having a younger brother who's been diagnosed with autism and severe body dyspraxia and speech impairment has taught her that having a disability does not mean you are different, as everyone is different in their own unique way. All right. Loves to lend a hand to those in need and would encourage anyone to never give up on their dreams. All right. Look at that. Yeah. So there you are. You know, going from a flight attendant to business administration, I'll ask you about that. How did that work? So you wanted to be a flight attendant, and then
You see, my mother always taught me to gain your education, the importance of education, because no one can take that away from you.
Right.
So once I got my business administration, learning flight attendant was always one of my dreams to
Okay.
learn the procedure, the safety procedure. So that's why I gained that certificate. Yeah.
All right.
But I haven't worked as a flight attendant as yet, but it is my
okay.
dream.
All right.
I have
Okay.
many dreams.
Well, the good thing about it is when you're young, you can dream. Keep dreaming, dream big, and achieve those dreams too. That's it. When you get on this side, you're like, girl, y'all be living. Go, do what you got to do, because time is there and sky's the limits, right? So now we'll talk to Ashley. All right, Ashley Crow, tell us a little bit about what made you decide to jump into this pageant world, or you have a pageant background.
No, I do not have a pageant background at all. This is not something I ever imagined that I would be doing.
Okay.
And the more I did research into the Miss Cayman Islands pageant specifically, the more I was interested in the position and, again, the role model that I would be within the campaign and in itself. And so I decided, oh my gosh, this is the way that I want to get involved. This is one of the ways that I would like to reestablish my home here in Cayman,
Okay.
because I recently moved home as well back in December. And that's kind of how I ended up getting involved with it. And it's been a different side of activism for me, which is very important to me. It's a different side of women empowerment that I have never ventured into. And I'm grateful to be here and to be learning from the women in the committee and the people in the committee who make this happen, as well as my now sisters, my pageant sisters, as I have. It's a new form of women empowerment that I've never experienced before. So.
Okay. And so where did you live?
I was living in the US.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And so, and you recently now, because you're taking a trip to go back,
Yes.
because you recently tell us about that.
Yes.
You're an
yes, of
actress
course.
and
So I am an actor and went to school in Chicago and then began my professional career in Chicago and was cast right before COVID. I was cast in Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play by Jocelyn Bio, directed by Lillian Brown, at the Goodman Theater in Chicago. We were 5 days away from opening, and then COVID shut everything down and pretty much all theater. And now everything is starting to open back up as far as the bigger theaters go, and having live performances. So I'm actually heading back to Chicago on Saturday to be on stage again for my first live performance in 18 months, which is wild.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm
All
very
right.
excited. I'm very excited.
So that just seems like, what do they say about, you make plans and God laughs type of thing. It
Mhm.
seems like,
Yeah.
okay,
Right? Mhm.
this happened and then it didn't happen. And now I'm going to enter the pageant and now this happens.
Right.
So you'll be gone for quite some time.
Yes, I will be. I will be back August 28th. So I will be engaging on social media quite a bit, which is definitely going to take, it's the way the world's going. It definitely takes me out of my comfort zone, but I'm also really excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the challenge of it and what you can do with that.
Right. And
So-
also just the opportunity that, you're going to be in this play. It sounds
well,
like a great
oh my gosh,
opportunity.
yeah. It's an amazing production. The play itself is fantastic. I highly recommend checking it out. Even if it's not my production, if it's not the Goodman's production, there are many other productions of it, but it's
Absolutely.
really fantastic.
Yeah. And I mentioned that Caitlin and I went to see Wicked in Chicago, didn't we? So we
Yes,
love
we
musical
did.
theater as well. And you followed that path also. So yeah, we love theater in Chicago.
Yeah.
I think that was one of my highlights of experiences, because we've seen a few on Broadway, but there was
Right.
something about Chicago, like the energy. And I don't know if it was the opening night. It felt like opening night. It was
Yeah.
amazing. So I'm really proud of all these ladies, but especially Ashley, if you're going away, safe travels and staying committed, because you have a lot of things on your plate. But again, that's what this pageant offers, is the opportunity to learn time management and prioritizing and stuff. You can take these lessons anywhere with you.
Mhm.
And I know that you guys are capable of doing anything that's on your plate. So
Yeah.
Very proud.
Yeah, spoken from experience for sure. Plate full, still moving. Ashley Crow, that she's 27 years old. She's from Georgetown. Your sponsor is
King Sports Center.
all right. And favorite quote: "The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any." I love that. That is absolutely the
Yes,
truth.
Wise Words by Alice Walker.
Right, absolutely. A classically trained actor currently making her debut at the internationally acclaimed Goodman Theater in Chicago. Ashley graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Theater from Loyola University, Chicago. In addition to her degree, she is trained in LA, New York City, and Chicago, and attended the London Conservatory training at the London Dramatic Academy. Interest lies in social justice and activism, particularly through art, service, and lifestyle. Has a myriad of hobbies, including traveling, cooking, working out, all sorts of stuff. She's health conscious, believes in a constantly evolving dedication to mind, body, soul, and wellness. All right. So there you go. Yeah. So what is it that are you guys on doing a platform? What's your platform for Miss Cayman?
The
Islands
Alex Hampton
Universe.
Foundation.
Okay. Yeah. And so have you all experienced anything like, mental health stuff? I mean, because, I talk about that on Wednesdays. We do like a wellness Wednesdays. We talk about how important mental health is. So just, anyone like any
absolutely.
background?
I think with 9 of us, we've all experienced some aspect of mental health and its impact with neglect. So for myself, having lived in the UK and London in a very unfamiliar territory, and that environment pushed me to the point where I didn't know what was going on, but I ended up suffering from SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder.
Okay.
And I have a psychology background. So as I'm studying, I started recognizing these traits where I was becoming emotionally void and withdrawn and anxious all the time.
Right.
And I'm there self-diagnosing
Yeah.
myself from my lecture notes. And I'm realizing, oh my goodness, I'm no longer the person I used to be.
Right.
And I had to figure out why,
Right.
what was that? And having that mindfulness. And eventually I took lessons from classes and I applied them to myself. And I was able to pull myself out of that situation. So what helped me a lot and really just brought me back to who I normally am is every day jotting down 5 things that you're grateful for.
Oh,
It
that's
doesn't
great.
have to be anything elaborate.
Right.
It was just the fact that I woke up today.
Right.
I'm able to go to university.
Right.
I'm able to read.
You're blessed.
Yeah. And recognizing your blessings.
Yeah,
And
counting
how
those.
significant those are, even as simple as they may seem,
Right.
are massive.
Yeah.
And eventually my mood shifted and I was able
Absolutely.
Just
Glass
get
half
back.
full versus glass half
the fact
empty
that
works
you have
sometimes.
water in that glass.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people don't realize how fortunate they are.
Yeah.
And they look at the bigger picture in the sense that, oh, I'm not able to travel overseas or whatever it may
Oh,
be.
stop talking to me, Ashley. Stop, Kimberly. Stop it.
But we have to take a step back
Yeah.
and realize the fact
You're
that you
so
have
right.
life and you're
Yeah.
healthy.
Absolutely.
You can do whatever
Yeah.
choice.
Absolutely. And that was the voice of Kimberly Carlos. We will bring you in now. Tell us a little bit
Thank you.
about your journey and what made you decide that you were going to be a part of this pageant, the 2021
Right.
Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that has been an interesting journey for me. As I've mentioned earlier, it's been a lifelong dream of mine. I'm half Filipino. So my grandma, as a little girl, always said, you go to Miss Universe. Like, every time she's like, Kim, you go this, you be Miss Cayman. And at one point they wanted to send me to the Philippines because they strongly wanted me to be a part of pageantry.
Yeah.
And I did Miss Cinderella as a toddler, but they really wanted me to go as far as I possibly could. And prior to me going off to university, that's when they were like, we're going to send you over to the Philippines. You're going to represent the country and your homeland over there. But to me, I said, no, I have to get a degree. I need to get an education. That was more important to me, even though this has been a passion of mine.
Okay.
And in 2019, I was actually approached on entering the pageant.
Okay.
But I was taking some kids to do their gold expedition in St. Lucia
Okay.
for Duke of Edinburgh.
Okay.
And I made that commitment because I've been training them to go hiking the pitons, and we were going all over the place and came out with our water our backpacks with water bottles, and it was just crazy. So I said I made that commitment. However, in 2020, I'll revisit it and then I'll enter.
All right.
Of course, COVID happened.
Right.
And this year, I had no intention of actually joining because I'm 27, and I thought I had hit that mark where I would not likely be one of the contestants
Right.
at eligibility bracket.
Right.
And I know the rules of Miss Universe, so I thought, oh, I missed my chance.
I was going to ask about that.
Yes, and thankfully, I'm literally we're literally on the cusp.
Really? Yeah.
And
Saturday, 27.
yeah.
Okay.
And so they told me this is your last chance. It's do or die.
Okay.
And I said, okay, that's my conviction. I have to do this.
Okay. So
that's why I'm
the
here.
cutoff is, tell us a little bit about that. I'm not sure about that. I was wondering about the age.
Mhm.
Is it up to 27? And yeah, Caitlin, you want to tell us a little bit?
Yeah.
I believe the cutoff is 27. If you turn 27 before the day of your national pageant.
Okay.
So that is the cutoff.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so you can compete internationally as well if you are.
If you have a birthday
Okay.
in between that time, then yes, you
Okay.
can. Yeah.
All right. So that's good. Okay. So,
We're safe. We're good.
yeah. So you're not feeling like old ladies in the pageant, are you?
You know what?
No. Come on.
I may be speaking out of term, but I feel like the mama bear in the group. Like
Okay.
I'm always just like, oh, you need
You
to
probably
fix
were the
this.
mama bear at 5. That's what I'm
You
thinking.
know, and that's just my nature. Having done Duke of Edinburgh and being one
Yeah.
of the leaders in the group,
Exactly.
I've always refer to the kids who are, I call them kids. They're 18 young adults, 20,
Right.
24 years old,
Yeah.
whatnot. But to me, they're my children. I'm looking out for them.
Right.
So with the girls, I'm like, oh, my kids. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
but I don't, by no means, it's more of an endearing term.
Right. Okay. All right. For
And I
sure.
think that's one of the really great things too about pageantry is that everyone comes in with their own unique experience, their own unique platforms. You have your personal platform as well as the official platform for this year's Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant being the Alex Panton Foundation, which is amazing foundation. But these ladies are different in ages, different in shapes, different in sizes, colors, textures, everything. That's what makes it such a vibrant show,
Yeah.
and such a tough competition. I love the competition aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's something like with age, there's wisdom, there's confidence, there's a sense of you kind of knowing who you are a little bit more. I know for a fact, I know who I am a lot more than I did a few years ago,
Right.
even the change I've gone through since being Miss Cayman Islands Universe 2018 to who I am now. was
Right.
a much more secure person. And people coming in with youth, they have that energy, they have that vibrancy. And it's just about utilizing what you have and making it work for you and making you stand out.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that too, because I remember when you did win and the whole year, like I was no longer Catherine Tyson. Funny enough, like no one knew who I was. People had totally forgotten. They were like, "Oh, you're Caitlin's mom. Oh, you're Miss Cayman Islands Universe mother." So it's like everybody's kind of redefining themselves, which is very interesting. And I was
Right.
very, very happy about just being that person there for you,
Mhm.
and kind of holding your purse and
And
facilitating photos,
holding
and
my
stuff.
crown box and stuff.
Holding the crown box, and yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I appreciate that too. And it was different for me because I'm extroverted when I'm out, but I'm very much a homebody. I'm very much introverted until I get on stage or something. And up until that point of me winning the crown, I was, my older brother's little sister. No one knew who I
Right.
was too.
Right.
So then now I was like, oh wow, that was very different.
Right.
And that's another thing for all the ladies to be prepared for is that, people are going to know your name. They're going to know you. They're going to see
right
you,
now.
right now, just being a part, putting yourself
Yes.
into this
Yes.
position. And so you can use that platform for a lot of good.
Yes, and that's the beauty of right now, which is what I was saying also, just about being a part of the competition, being a part of the pageant, is that
Process.
you're all and you're all kind of on the same level, right? And you're doing the same thing, so you all have the same opportunity to kind of work it. Like, like be fabulous, be amazing, work your social medias and work the opportunity that you have, because you have this great opportunity. And so everybody's going to know your names, just like Caitlin said, like, absolutely. And especially after today, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to remember they heard you on the radio. And I've seen that you've done some appearances. Also, we won't mention those other ones, but, so Kimberly Carlos, age 27. She's from the District of West Bay. Sponsor is
Gratefully, Kirk Freeport.
Kirk Freeport. I remember that name. Their favorite quote: "To be kind is more important than to be right." Many times what people need is not a brilliant mind that speaks, but a special heart that listens. Absolutely. Yeah. With plans to pursue a legal practitioner's course in the near future, Kimberly is a certified practitioner in the trust and corporate sector, a leader in the Duke of Edinburgh Awards program, Cayman Connection, United Kingdom, Youth Ambassador, a Junior Achievement winner, and a Red Cross Volunteer of the Year. You're just a lazy bones, Kimberly. Do something with
Listen to
yourself.
me, my mother, she
Do
says,
something
I
with
can't
yourself.
afford to pay for a helper to take care of you after school, so I'm going to make you do all these things.
She sounds like me. My kids were in everything. I just had to
Yeah,
drop
she was
them
like,
and pick
come,
them
let
up.
me just drop you here.
Yeah, I'm so glad they got driver's license. Or one of them, they could drop each other off. Her hobbies include traveling to unique and exotic countries, like where?
St. Lucia, for
All
one,
right.
Guyana. I did my gold expedition through the Amazon, where part of that was swimming because we had a flash flood. And Greece. I love Spain, Norway, Costa
Okay.
Rica, the US.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Having a psychology degree, she has learned the importance of self-awareness, stress management, and the necessity to have a happy and healthy lifestyle, both physically and mentally. And close to her heart is mentoring young people. I was just announcing Big Brothers, Big Sisters
Yes.
needs somebody.
Mhm.
So if you guys,
Oh, yes.
even now, I know you have a lot on your plate, but even beyond the pageant, if you have 1 hour a week, that's it. Like literally just as little as 1 hour, you could mentor up. You could be a big sister, big brother, but not big brother, but you'd be a big sister to somebody. But that'd be amazing. Yeah.
No, definitely.
So that's really great. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. We will continue this conversation because I want to hear all about what's going on in the pageant and, who inspires you and, kind of who's your tribe and who are, because, we'd like to give the people a rose as well, while they're here type of thing. Yeah. And I'm sure all of you kind of have your own people that are in your corners and stuff. Yeah. So far, one question before we go to break. What has been the toughest so far? And anyone can answer that. What's been the toughest part of the pageant so far?
Cutting out carbs.
Oh, it's the food
I
stuff.
love my food. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Rice and beans, Cayman
Yeah.
style beef, plantain, cassava.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Don't make us hungry. Okay.
All day.
All right. So that's been, so your diet. So you've been very focused on your diet. Okay.
Yes.
Great. What about, and that was Kimberly. So what about you, Miss Aaliyah?
I would say for myself, it's realizing your not so strong points and having to work on them.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. And being open to correction too, right?
definitely.
Like
And
being
that
able to,
vulnerability.
yeah, and to receive criticism. Yeah. And allow it to let you grow. That's actually really good because a lot of people kind of struggle with that. So what about you, Miss Ashley? Yeah. What about you, Ashley?
So I think Caitlin kind of touched on this when speaking about being an actor on stage and being extroverted when you're out and on when you're on stage and then kind of a homebody. I am very much introverted, which a lot of people don't really know about me because I am a people person and I'm passionate about the way we interact and communicate with each other and use that in my work and also in my life. So I would say that the most difficult thing for me is being in the public image a little bit more, which, I mean, that's essentially what it is we're doing. But
Okay.
I believe very much in myself and myself as a role model within Cayman. And I'm excited for what this level up is going to be in terms of more people getting to know who I am. And
Okay.
I'm excited for myself to get to meet them, and I'm excited for them to get to meet and know me.
Yeah, and that's interesting too because, like you said, I mean, being an actor, right? You are, obviously, you're going to be a public person, right? So you've had all these opportunities to be in the public. That's even different than a lot of the other girls, right? And so struggling with, okay, but this is me. This is actually me, and how do I share that? And how do I feel about that? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me this afternoon. We'll be back with more. So you stay tuned. This is Straight Talk. Your Drive at at 5 show. I am your host, Catherine Tyson, and I am here surrounded by beauty. 3 lovely young ladies from the Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant, and a former Miss Cayman Islands herself, the queen herself, is here, and it's my queen anyway. So yeah, so it's 5 queens in here, by the way. So just stay tuned. We will be back with more right after these messages. Good afternoon and welcome back to Straight Talk. This is your Drive at 5 show. Catherine Tyson, your host, and this is Thursdays, your Success 101 show. And this afternoon, we are joined in studio by the Miss Cayman Islands Universe, some of the contestants. So I have Aaliyah Solomon, I have Ashley Crow, and I have Kimberly Carlos that are 3 of the how many this time?
9
ladies.
9. That, you know what? That is very interesting. And of course, we have Caitlin Tyson here, who is a former Miss Cayman Islands Universe 2018. Yes, and the name sounds familiar because I went to Thailand with her for the Miss Universe. Nobody asked me that, but anyway.
It's your show. You can do what you want.
It was a long trip. I'm talking about that trip, getting stuck in Tokyo. Anyway, we're not talking about that. No, really. It's the truth. But, it's just really, I think, just such a beautiful thing. As Caitlin said earlier before the break, just the variety, right? Just the differences in all of the young ladies that are there. I mean, they're all different sizes and heights and shades, and it's just beautiful. And I don't know if you guys listening, you know about United Colors of Benetton. Like, you guys are too young to remember that. Y'all got to Google it. Oh, Google it. Yeah. Because it was like a big campaign. It was very beautiful. So it was really good to see just so many different young ladies that put themselves forward this time.
Yes.
That's
and
amazing.
I think that's so amazing coming out off of 2020, where I think, a lot of people, their plans were cut short and we had to just kind of stay safe and keep each other safe. So now I'm really excited to see such an amazing lineup of girls, and 9 of them, that's amazing. And the diversity that we're talking about, that just is a small drop of the diversity that we have here in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
So I love that representation that we have this
I love
year.
it. I love it. When I was in school, way back when, there was a young lady that did like a poem, and so we'd call it all a melting pot at that time, and she said actually it's a salad bowl, because with salads everybody holds their shape, their form. So you have the tomatoes, the carrots, the cucumbers, and it's all just everybody is still able to be themselves. And I love that, because with the melting pot, it's all kind of melts into one. So I thought that was great.
You
and I
mix
heard
together
that
but
many
still
years
stand
ago.
out. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So when you stick your fork into a couple of those
Taste all
things,
the
and you can
flavors.
taste
Right.
all of the different flavors. Yeah. So I think Cayman more and more has become more of that salad bowl, and I really love that. And for us to be accepting of one another, you
Right.
know, like you said, you're half Filipino, Kimberly. Because I was wondering, I'm like, okay, where is she? You know,
I throw people off all the time. They see that last name Carlos and they think I'm Mexican,
Yeah.
Colombian, Spanish. Like, no, I'm a Bracapino. So my mom is from my mom's from Cayman Brac and my
Okay.
dad's from the Philippines. He was actually, him and my grandma came here in 1990. So they were
Okay.
some of the first Filipinos who moved to Cayman.
Right.
And my grandmother, when you mentioned people who inspire you, that is her.
Yeah.
She left the Philippines making butter, like peanut butter, by
Okay.
hand.
Okay.
And that was her way of living, because even though she married into a wealthy family, she wanted that independence for herself.
Right.
And she thought, I'm going to do whatever I can to earn my own keep.
Right.
And so her sister took a chance traveling to Cayman, and she said, I'm going to go with you.
Okay.
And my dad just so happened to say, I'm not going to let my mom travel by herself. And he came along.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
here I am today.
Okay. All right. And that's a great backstory, because I think it represents, you know,
The culture that's alive
yeah,
here.
1990 to now. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's 30 years. And so
Don't
now,
remind
well, I know because I had a kid in 1990. That's only how I know.
I know. It's like it's fast approaching.
So, yeah. So just think, let's slow down. You're 27. Calm down. She's already worried about her 30th. Okay.
My grandma,
Um,
she's like, okay, when are you having kids now?
yeah. You do it at your own pace.
Exactly.
That when you're ready, they'll be ready. But just thinking about 1990 and now here are the results of that. And it's the same with all of the cultures that have kind of been around, that have come around, and we're all Caymanian. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And
I
that
love
is
that.
the beauty of being a Caymanian and what that nationality represents, because we're all Caymanian, but look at how different and beautiful we are.
Right. But for sure, I mean, you all look different too. Like really,
Exactly. And that's
like
the
everybody
thing.
has something unique, and yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's that uniqueness that represents the Caymanian culture
Yeah.
and Caymanian people.
And I love that too, because I come from that era where, they were trying to define what beauty was. And, in the 60s and 70s, what was the picture of beauty, which was ridiculous. And so it excluded a whole lot of people. And so now when we're able to represent and say, look, this is actually, all of this is beauty. Like different people with different shaped noses and different height. It's amazing. And I really love that, because for me, it is, kind of almost like it feels like now I just can make peace with that I've lived to see, how we,
Change in society.
exactly. And how we
beauty
can
is
all
not
just
one size
embrace
fits
each other.
all.
Absolutely, for sure. So that was your inspiration, your grandmother. Is that your inspiration?
There's
person?
many more, but
Okay.
my grandma and my mom. I have so many strong women in my life that I'm also doing this for them as well.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Miss Aaliyah?
I would say my inspiration is my younger brother, Muhammad Solomon.
Okay.
Having disability, from watching him and taking care of him, to live in a world with no speech. A lot of things that you take for advantage, your speech, and to not have that, having to communicate through sign language.
Okay.
He makes me appreciate myself, and to basically never take anything for granted.
Okay.
And he's still happy. He doesn't.
How old is he?
He is 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has severe autism and dyspraxia, so he doesn't have any speech. So he does sign language.
Okay.
Well, Makaton is British Sign Language.
Okay.
And I happened to learn a few along the way, but he's my inspiration. 'Cause
Okay.
At the end of the day, he always remains happy, and I think that's what matters in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you, Miss Ashley?
Well, I think I would have to agree with Kimberly in that I have many inspirations. But right now, one person who particularly is inspiring, which if she's listening to this, I don't want to hear you, and I told you so later, but is my mom. And I'm very proud to be back home and reconnecting with her. And just working on that relationship has been something that has been difficult, definitely has had its difficulties, but one that I'm really proud that we both show up for that work, especially doing this pageant, especially as I sort of come more into this public image. And so that's one person who's inspiring me. But all of my aunts, my cousins, I don't know where I would be without the women who support me, and without the men as well. My dad, just my family, and my partner. A big shout out to my partner, who is incredible and in supporting me. So I have a village of people standing with me who inspire me every day, and I'm very proud to be hopefully representing them well.
All right. I think you are. I think they should be very proud. At least the three that I'm seeing in here. It's it's amazing. Caitlin, you want to answer that question too, or you're okay? Just sitting there doing nothing.
I would have to say my mother.
Oh, come on! I set that one up.
No, but I love how all of you ladies answered that question, and you are definitely making your tribe proud just by doing this. It's not an easy thing to do, to put yourself out there, but you're representing yourself, and hopefully you'll be representing your whole nation. So
yeah. Well, right now you're actually representing your whole nation, by the way. So, Journey to the Crown, all the way from now until September 11th, that night, like 10 o'clock, I don't know what time it is, but literally up until that, you're actually representing your entire nation. So you're not walking around with that crown, visible crown, or that sash, but that's actually what you're walking around with. So they're watching you, they're looking at you, you know what I mean? And they're expecting, what you're representing is the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, and our morals, our values, and just what we as a people represent, you know, spreading that Cayman kind everywhere you can. And that was one of the reasons that I chose to actually enter the pageant in 2018, was that I felt like I was a national ambassador already, because everywhere you travel to, they're like, oh, wait, I thought you were American. I'm like, no, I'm Caymanian. They're like, oh, that's why you're so nice. Oh, you're from the islands. That's why you're nice, So I felt like, wow, I really am representing my country, my people, wherever I go. So maybe I should enter this thing, so that's part of the reason. So that is so true that you are representing your country already right now.
Yeah. And she's really being humble, because when she told us about it, she was living in New York, and she's, working and modeling and acting, all kinds of stuff, and doing all of her auditions and everything. It was just amazing. And then she says, oh, I think I might enter this pageant. I don't know, but I'll just do it for the fun. And then, then I go back to New York. And I was like, what? No. If you're entering, you're winning. Let's not have that kind of talk in this house.
Because I always wanted to do it, but then, there are always these reasons that pop up where you talk yourself out of something, like, oh, it's not the right time, or I'm not ready, or, let me do this first and then I'll be ready, or let me, it's like, no, just go for it. And you were actually that driving force that was like, if we're going to do it to win, because she's
not playing.
Catherine Tyson is very competitive.
I don't know.
Yes. And you gave that to me, but that's the kind of spirit that you need, because it is a big title that you're fighting for. You want this opportunity. So there's nothing wrong with having a little healthy competition. A pageant is a competition at the end of the day.
Right.
And the same way that you go out there and you cheer for your favorite sports team or your favorite boxer, when you come out to a pageant and everyone has their numbers in the air and who they're representing, like, that's exactly what it is.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, your brothers were involved too. So it was just like, I think I'm going to run, and say, no, you're not ready. I think I'm going to run. Oh, not ready. And then you were just like, excuse me, who are these people that are and then that year, everybody was like, yeah, you're ready. Let's do this. So did you guys feel like that as well? That you were ready? And were there people in your life that said, you need to do this? That's another question. Kimberly.
Yes, constantly.
Yeah, well, your grandmother wants you to go to Philippines and be in the Philippines, so we know your grandmother. But at that time, were there people in your life saying, I think you need to do this?
Well, Mr. Jamo, actually. So I was a part of Youth Flex back in the day with Caitlin.
Okay.
And he said to me, once you're old enough, you definitely need to go into Miss Cayman, use this platform, utilize it to interact with people and reach as many lives as possible, because I was already doing that through my volunteering.
Okay.
And I thought, I need to get a degree. I need to work on myself. I need to get a job. And what Caitlin said, I set all these limitations for myself. I thought, I'm not tall enough. I'm not skinny enough. I didn't fit that tick box criteria
Wow.
of what
Okay.
a beauty queen was,
Right.
even though I had that encouragement from other people saying, you've got the personality, go for it. But
Right.
I kept limiting myself, thinking that I wasn't enough to match that caliber.
Right.
So it's been a self-loving process as
Yeah.
well, accepting my flaws, accepting who I am externally as well as internally, and being able to just put my best self out,
Okay.
and being able to be under the microscope and that scrutiny that the public eye does bring, unfortunately.
Right.
But I'm making sure that I look at the positive aspects of it as well.
Okay.
Because even though I'm now, and all of us are within the community, we have to utilize our voice and our presence,
Right.
and make that impression.
Right. Now you have in your background psychology and legal practitioners. Is that a lawyer? Like, what is that? Or is it that's what you're interested in doing?
So the funny story with that is, and I'm a firm believer on fate and destiny. And I've learned that along the way, no matter how well you plan your life, if it is not for you, it will not come to you.
Right.
And I studied psychology with the intention of being a clinical neuropsychologist. And when I came back with my bachelor's degree, even though I volunteered in the UK, they said it wasn't sufficient to actually have a job. So
Okay.
a lot of it was just a
Right.
voluntary process. They said,
Yeah.
oh, you can shadow a practitioner,
Yeah.
but we're not able to pay you.
Right.
And coming back home with a degree, in my family, they were like, you need to support yourself. You can't
get
expect
to work, right?
Yeah, you can't expect to go off to school
Yeah.
and then not be working.
Yeah, and I always tell people a bachelor's in psychology is just that's
not enough.
literally like it's not anything for you to work as a psychologist. Like,
Right.
absolutely not. Yeah. So a bachelor's, if you're doing that, you're gonna have to plan the
pursue
master's
further.
or a PhD. Absolutely.
And I had that intention. So I was enrolled to do my master's the following September, but I needed to work within that period
Okay.
to build up enough funds to go off and support myself, because I would go back to London. London's very expensive.
Okay.
And during that period, I thought I went about 3 months without a job, and I said I need to utilize my actual skills and apply them somewhere.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up in the trust field.
Okay.
And thankfully, the employer that hired me at that time took a chance, and they said, you know what, you've got psychology, you can use that with your client relationships.
Okay.
We'll help you with studying post-qualifications, which I then enlisted in the STEP. And I had to do another series of
Okay.
2.5 years of studying.
All right. All right. Great. I tell you, I mean, it's like, the whole thing, right? So what about you, Aaliyah, who was kind of saying, you need to go into this competition? Were there some people in your life that were pushing you towards this?
You know, the funny thing is, I personally myself pushed myself to go into the pageant, because when I was living in England, from I said before, I used to watch it and I thought it was very interesting.
Right.
And yeah, I would say just myself, and obviously along with my mother
Okay.
and
okay.
my sisters. We
All
have
right.
7 of us, including myself. So yeah, very big family. And
Okay.
yeah, that's
All right. So you have a whole lot of people that's going to be in the audience with
The
your
Solomon
number.
family.
All right. Okay. And what about you?
Well, so it's kind of funny. Nobody expected me to do the pageant. And when I first considered it, I started telling friends and family, and I was looking for one person to tell me like, oh yeah, I don't think maybe this is for you, Ash. Like, I really didn't picture you to do it. And no one did that. No one did that. Everybody, even the people who I thought like would be like, Ash, really? I mean, you're a feminist on the other side. Pageantry is about empowering women, and I think it's is in alignment with the womanist movement, which I think is also important. But it's definitely not something that as I said before, I would have considered. And so I was waiting for somebody to say like, I don't know. And then everybody that I talked to was just like, oh my gosh, wait, what? Yes. I'm so, yes. And I was like, what, really?
Wow.
And so, yeah, I think that was the universe and God's way of saying, come on, girl.
It's lining up.
It's time.
Yeah.
Let's just do this. I never considered it, but I also believe in fate and God's planning and time,
Yeah.
or the universe times, however you want to look at that. For me, it's God. And that I decided, okay, let me roll with it. I cried a lot.
Yeah.
I was very anxious making the decision because I knew what was going to be in it. I knew what I wanted to get out of it. And then also the open-ended part of what I will learn from that. And so I'm quite excited getting through the, okay, can I make this happen? Can I do this, and meditating on it. And here I am, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And pageants are so much more, so different than it was, 20 years ago. Like, it absolutely is a platform. It's I love it. It really is about, your strength and your power and, just representing your intelligence and, your beauty, but beauty with a purpose and all of that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I always say, like, if something scares you, for me, that's enough reason to do it.
Yeah.
So if I'm like making all these excuses why I shouldn't, then I'll sit down and be like, you know what, I'm just going to sign up, and then there's no turning back now.
Jump in, jump in and figure it out. Yeah.
And I think that's another, what you just mentioned, that's a preconceived notion I think that people have from years ago, what beauty pageants used to stand for.
Right.
Where I think a lot of people still think that there are these men on the other end that are controlling it, and that we're all doing this for the male gaze, but it's women who are empowering ourselves. And it's that I want to get on stage and do this. Actually, I want to not only show how strong and capable I am physically, but also mentally, and how capable I am to be a leader in my community.
Right.
So as you can see, people who enter pageants, they are hardly ever are they just a pretty face and very shallow. Like, they have education, they're worldly, they're well-traveled, they're compassionate people.
Right.
Just as women, we are so complex. And as we continue to charter our own path, that's no one can tell us anything.
Right.
That's how I feel.
And you're absolutely right. Like, I just remember, coming from that kind of mindset, of hearing like women being objectified, and kind of, on display for men. And it's really not about that. Like, when you see the work that's put in, the transformation that you have with your body, with your mind, with your spirit. I mean, it's discipline. Yeah. It's like, proving something. It's saying you put your mind to it and you can achieve it. And that's what everyone gets out of this run. And that's what I love about it. So it's not just that one winner. And I'm always going to say that you're all winners, because you need to feel that. You need to own that. Because I think
there was like a debate going on years ago about this, the swimsuit portion of it, and how is this objectifying? And I think majority of women were like, "Oh no, we like wearing swimsuits. Right? I mean, we wear it. We wear it. Right? We wear it to the beach. Like, we don't feel objectified. It's when we go on stage, it's about showing how confident I am in my body as who I am. I'm not hiding behind anything. This is me. And how many women you inspire to embrace their natural beauty just by being there and stepping forward. And so right now the girls are going through intense training all over. It's inward, it's outward. Right now they're training with the Toastmasters, of course, like every year. I am the official runway coach. So we're going through runway, strutting, turning like a pro. We're choreographing, they're dancing in heels. It's a lot of stuff going on right now, as well as physical training sponsored by King Sports Center. So they are going through so much right now. And I always compare pageantry to an extreme sport, because it really is. Right. When you go to see a bodybuilding competition, the work that those people have put in to have their physique at that level, it's the same thing when you see pageants. They didn't just dust themselves off one day and say, I'm going to enter this. Absolutely. It's months of preparation.
Yeah. And the win is exhausting, because I just being the mother of a winner, I can tell you that. It looks cute. But
think
it's
that's the finish line, but it's
work.
not.
No, this is just the beginning. Because, when you get that, it is every day, all day. I mean, she was exhausted. You could probably see my foot in her back sometimes. Like, you got to go to this event,
I mean, yeah. And I think Ashley mentioned the anxiety and crying and all of that stuff. And that's, I mean, I don't know how many of us. I don't know how many events happen where I'm like doing my makeup while tears are coming down. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's get it together, because I'm not only representing myself, because I would just say, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But it's like, I can't do that. I have a whole country that I'm representing, and so
Yeah.
This experience, that's why I say, like, it really just helps you in every aspect of your life, that you
It
can
does.
look back on your own experience and say, I absolutely know that I can do this. I know I can walk into any interview and kill it. I know that I can put anything on my plate and say, I can tackle this head on and give 100% of myself. So really just embrace all that you're going to learn, because it's so amazing.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to have a question for them, right? I'm not going to put you in a spot. So just think about a question for them, Caitlin, that, I've not asked, but I'm going to ask you, just like, the night of the pageant. If you had, if you had one wish, like if you had a genie, a wish from a genie, what would it be? Just one wish. What would it be? Let me ask Ashley first.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
If I had one wish.
Just one. That's it.
If I had one wish, it would be to encourage anti-racist education in Cayman, a more comprehensive understanding of our history as Caymanians, especially as Black Caymanians. That would be my wish for everyone to undergo that. In addition to a healing and reconciliation session, I suppose, after that, that would be my wish.
All right. Well, Ashley, I can tell you what. So after the pageant, win, lose, or draw, you're coming back in here and having a conversation with me about that, because I think we need to hear it.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
That's right down my alley. Okay. So there's your one wish. All right. What about you, Miss Aaliyah? One wish.
One wish.
Just
I
one.
have a lot of wishes.
I
but
know.
maybe
I
one.
know. It's one.
I would say it would be for watching, very similar to Ashley's answer, watching the police brutality in America, the amount of torture that Black people have been through in the world, and it's still going on to this day. I would love for us, for once, to be able to get along, and for the crime and the hatred and the racism to stop, because I personally believe that it will never stop. It will always be a constant ongoing.
So that's a wish. Wow.
That's
All
my
right.
wish. Yeah,
Great.
because I'm Black, everyone is my people. So
Say it loud.
Yeah. That is my very big wish.
That was my homage to James Brown, by the way. Whoever didn't get that.
I love James Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Miss Kimberly?
The natural instinct of self-awareness. And I wish that everybody would take the time to know thyself, and having that understanding of who you are, what you represent, and why you're doing the things that you're doing, living a purpose-driven life. I strongly believe that a lot of these personality disorders, as well as other psychological disorders, you don't wake up with that. That is a buildup of habits, and habits come from certain behavior, certain actions, the environment you're in. And this is something that I want to advocate, win or lose, regardless, because I'm passionate about this. If you have an understanding of who you are and what you represent, your values, then, for example, just an example.
The bell's about to ring.
Okay. But when I know I have so much I want to talk about, but
it's one question, one wish.
The wish of mindfulness within everyone, that natural instinct of self-awareness.
I like it.
You could definitely have that prevention of alcoholism, abuse, and hatred towards others.
Racism, all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd have that mindfulness that your actions have an impact not just on you, but everybody else.
All right. Good stuff. So yeah, no one said world peace. Okay, but that's great. It's a pageant. No, it's a pageant answer. I'm joking. Like, I want world peace. Yeah. No, absolutely. You want world peace.
Right.
Yes, you do. You see how we answer a world peace answer in 2021? It's very different. All right, we got 2 minutes, so let's go.
So my question is, if you could challenge one perception about women, what would it be and why?
Okay, and you got 30 seconds. Come on, quick time. Kimberly. Oh, no, good. Aaliyah, go ahead. No, come on, Aaliyah. Come on.
I would say for women to be able to get along well and to stop being not saying all of them are like, but the jealousy and the covetousness and the looking down on other women, just to stop and understand that we're all women. We go through the same exact things,
Yes.
you know? That's why.
Sisters.
Yeah,
Sisterhood.
we're
All right,
exactly
great.
sisters.
Ashley.
Women come in all shapes and sizes, and are not always 100% feminine. If there was one thing that I would wish people to understand about women is that we can also embrace our masculine energy. And in fact, I think it's very important that whether you are single and by yourself, that you embrace both the masculine and feminine energy, or if you're in a partnership, that you balance that out with your partner as well.
All right, great. 30 seconds, Miss Kimberly.
That women are capable of much more than what they're perceived to achieve. And that they don't just belong in the kitchen or any household duties, that they can go beyond
We can rule the
what
world.
society limits us or perceives us that we shouldn't be on the construction field. Women can do all of that and in heels and looking fabulous.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me this afternoon. Thank you, Caitlin, for that question. Loved it.
Thank you very much.
And, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching your journey. I'm going to be watching all of it. I'm going to watch all of you queens with your crowns, basically, and your sashes representing the Cayman Islands. And I wish you all the best of luck and enjoy this journey because you deserve to enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank you
much.
all.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
to our two lovely hosts.
All right.
And
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you. And make sure you all follow the Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant on Instagram at official Miss Universe Cayman. And make sure you keep up with all the girls. Can they give their handles really quickly?
All right. We have 20 seconds.
All right.
Super easy, Kimberly A. Carlos. Thank you to the committee as well for all their hard
All
work.
right.
Okay, mine is Aaliyah Solomon. It is LEYA_XO. That's Leah.
All right.
Ash.mcrow.
Okay, so if you go onto Miss Cayman Islands Universe
All there.
Instagram, you'll see all of them anyway. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon once again. Kimberly Carlos, Aaliyah Solomon, Ashley Crow, say hello to your mama. And you guys have a great afternoon. This has been your Straight Talk Drive at 5 show. I'm Catherine Tyson, your host. Have a great afternoon. I will talk with you again on Monday. Take care.